Goodbye, March. Hello, April. It is a new month with new opportunities and new awesome things to look forward to, especially in the monster truck industry. Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to STSL Off the Track. You heard that right. We are now a quarter of the way through 2026. The time is already flying by. It's now April. We're not fooling around. We're going full speed into the new month. A lot to look forward to in sports and in the monster truck industry in general. Tonight, we're doing a bit of a switcheroo in who is leading the pack. I will be holding down the fort for tonight, but I have the man, the myth, the legend, the off the track host himself, Lane Flores. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. 1 week after tooth extraction, speaking a lot better. Even though it hurts from here and there from time to time, but it's all manageable. I know, and yeah, like you said, roles got reversed here. I'll let you lead. I'll take the backseat here, kind of. Still producing everything, but other than that, let's have a great show.
Right on, buddy. We are still going to rock and roll into this new month, but still also look back on the last bits of March. But first, before we get into all of that, of course, we got to start off with what is happening in the wide world of sports. Well, first and foremost, the NCAA men's Final Four is set. The final showdown is about to go down in Indianapolis. And your four teams that have made it this far. The first Final Four matchup, which is on Saturday, April 4th at 6:09 p.m. Nice. It's going to be number 3 Illinois fighting Illini going up against the Yukon Huskies number 2. So, one of those teams will be in the national championship as well as one of these two, number 1 Michigan and number 1 Arizona. The only two one seeds that survived this crazy bracket, this crazy tournament that we have witnessed. The Wolverines and the Wildcats will fight for that spot in the national championship. That's going to be at 8:49, and the winners of those two games, they will meet in the national championship on Monday, April 6th at 8:30 p.m. So, while I am upset that Tennessee did not make it that far, well, honestly, I didn't expect them to make it as far as the Elite Eight, so kudos to them. This is going to be an incredible national championship. So, looking forward to seeing what happens there. Now, the MLB season also is officially underway. And it's never too early to take a look at the early standings for the MLB, starting with the American League, the AL East Division. Whoa, look at that. The New York Yankees are leading the division. That's a shocker. 5-1 to start the year. In the Central Division, the Cleveland Guardians are currently leading at 4-3, and the Houston Astros leading the West at 5-2. But they also have their Texas rival, the Rangers, are not that far behind. And looking at the National League, the NL East, the Braves division, they're 4-2 right now. They are second place, right behind the Miami Marlins at 5-1. Also 5-1 are the Milwaukee Brewers, leading the Central Division, and the LA Dodgers, the the team with the big money bag, they are currently 4-2 right now. So still early in the season, we still have 155-ish games left to go. So it's going to be a long season, so hold on tight. Now switching over to the motorsports, the NASCAR races, let's take a look at what's going on in the Cup Series. This past weekend, they went to historic Martinsville Speedway for the Cookout 400, and everybody's favorite driver, Chase Elliott, got the win for the number 9 car, finished with 55 points total. Second place was Denny Hamlin. Third place, Joey Logano, followed by Ty Gibbs and William Byron. So great racing there from Martinsville. Now they're going to take a bit of a break. They're going to take this weekend off because of Easter weekend. But after that, they are going to Bristol Motor Speedway, the last great Coliseum, for the Food City 500. I would love to go to this race, but I got some other plans that'll be coming up in the near future. Definitely will want to go to a race there sometime soon. But that's all for my part of the sports section. I'm going to toss it over to Lane now for anything that may be going on in the world of WWE wrestling. Because, I'm kind of starting to get into wrestling a bit myself. Lane, what's going on in the WWE world?
I have no clue exactly. Actually, I have not seen. So I have not seen any Raw episodes. Literally, I believe, like the last month now. Ever since they had, ever since actually no, I have not seen any Raw episodes ever since we were doing podcast episodes back on Monday nights, and when they started having me work doubles on Mondays. I have not seen anything else other than the CM Punk and Roman Reigns feuds is still happening. Um, yeah, not a whole lot really. Act like
Well,
really.
yeah, speaking of Roman Reigns and CM Punk, that matchup coming in WrestleMania 42, we are just a little over 2 weeks away from WrestleMania 42 at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. So that'll be incredible to see there. But that is it for the sports section. Now it's time to go into what everybody's looking forward to, the truck jams. What shows did we have this past weekend, and what are some cool events or things that came out of them? Well, let's take a look here. Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live. Their tour was in full swing, all three tours, two domestic shows in Charlottesville, Virginia, and Council Bluffs, Iowa, and you also had the international tour in Leeds, United Kingdom. So Hot Wheels was very busy this past weekend. The Monster X Tour was in one location at Farmington, New Mexico, at the McGee Park Coliseum. That included Barefoot with Paul Craighead, Carolina Crusher, Rob Poutre, Rampage, Travis Groth, the veteran Tyler Groth, and Werewolf Stanley Hernandez. That was kind of a surprise seeing Travis Groth driving Rampage, but hope he did pretty good there. Monster Truck Wars was also very busy. They were at Gainesville, Georgia with Locomotive, Justin Murphy, Outlaw, Alan Finstermaker, Shark Attack, Jerry Furhotter, and T-Rex Devin Jones. They were also at Lakeside, California. Same trucks, different drivers. With Locomotive, Chris Watley, Outlaw, Brandon Pizzo, Shark Attack, Kaylee Ingstrom, and T-Rex Colton Fowler. The SC Monster Truck Madness Tour was at Hartwell, Georgia at Hartwell Speedway. The four truck lineup consisted of American Scout, Colton Kaiser, Crime Time, Brittany Ames, Culture Shock, Daniel Ames, and Feeling Froggy with Jeremy Brady. The Malicious Monster Truck Insanity Tour was at Bakersfield, California. This is the straight up racing crew with the addition of Titan Donald Epidenio. So you also had Elbows Up Joe Briggs, Identity Theft, Gravedigger, Miles Parker, Mixed Up Gavin Sell, Rockstar Bill Payne, and Spitfire with Nick Jones behind the wheel. The Mega Promotions Live Motorsports Events Tour was in Enid, Oklahoma. This consisted of Hot Seat with Kurt Kramer, let's go. Obsessed with Eric Swanson, Pretty Obsessed with Misha Swanson, Ramdemption, Dan Agosh, and Raminator with Mark Hall. Monster Trucks Unleashed was in Corinth, Mississippi. As it had Black Stallion, Mike Vaughters, Higher Education, Krista Hoyos, Iron Warrior, Dustin Lewis, and Jesse Turner sharing duties of that truck. Overkill Evolution, not with Mikey Vaughters, it was driven by Ryan Robinson. More on Mikey Vaughters in just a second. And War Wizard RJ Turner, that concluded that lineup. Renegade Monster Trucks was in Fisherville, Virginia. That consisted of Hurricane Force Stephen Thompson, Eliminator Daniel Donnelly, Shredder Zane Ratu, Stinger Unleashed CJ Ratu, Toxic Corey Snyder, and Virginia Giant Cliff Fowle. The 2X Monster Trucks Live Tour. This is for you, Lane. Bounty Hunter Jimmy Cretin. They were at Antioch, California. Bounty Hunter Jimmy Cretin, Jekyll and Hyde Corey Connell, Warren Rex Mike Nugent, Scarlet Bandit Don Cretin, and Sharkbite, Dan, the man,
Dumbass.
Dahlgren.
Yeah.
Let's go. All Star Monster Truck Tour was in, you guessed it, Knoxville, Tennessee. That's right, they came back to the Smoky Mountain Speedway with High Tide, Zach Winchenbach, Kraken Nick Pagliarillo, Loomis Manus, Athena Kozel, Misfire Brooke Pagliarillo, and Rat Attack Jacob Bladwig. More on All Star in just a second. Toughest Monster Truck Tour was at Grand Forks, North Dakota, one of the biggest places they go to all year. At the Alaris Center, it had Blockhead Darren Basil, Dirt Crew Jerry Beck, Dozer David Too Tall Olfert, Jurassic Attack Preston Collins, Maximus Jared Smith, and Velociraptor Preston Perez. Before I go into the All Star Tour and what happened last week, let's put a spotlight on Too Tall David Olfert, your 2026 toughest tour points champion. How about this lane? This guy only not even in his second year with DCT Power Sports, and he's already got himself a toughest points championship. How about that?
Very awesome for Too Tall for sure. Like you said, not really even his second year in. But hell of a driver he is. He absolutely crushed it out there in toughest this year with Dirt Crew Dozer and of course the Dirt Crew. Um, but yeah, he gave everyone a run for the money. I'm just kind of sad that I never got to see toughest this year in Loveland as they never came to Loveland. But I do hope to see him in Pueblo this year, hopefully.
Yeah, David Olfert, with all that experience that he has in Monster Jam, you knew he was going to be the man to beat on that tour, as he's already won a few overall championships and a last chance qualifier with Velociraptor. And this is a new challenge with DCT Power Sports, but he lived up to the challenge. So congratulations to David Olfert adding a big championship to his resume. Now going into the All-Star Tour and everything that happened at Smoky Mountain Speedway, what an incredible time it was this past weekend. Seeing Chuck Plumley and the gang, getting to see Brian Wagner, the operator, the owner of the All-Star Tour. I also got to see Avengers Racing. Wayne was there all weekend doing some media for Tom Flory Motorsports. And doing both shows again this year for the third year in a row was really cool. Now, it was a tale of two events. For one, Jacob Ladwig and the Rat Attack. Saturday, he won every single competition, swept the event in best trick, racing, and freestyle. Sunday, did not compete at all. He broke the front axle during intros, was not able to move the truck the way he wanted, so it was a four truck event for Sunday, but everybody gave it their all, and it was the Paglarulos that stole the show. Nick Pag won the best trick competition with Kraken, and in the first all-female racing finals of that tour this year, Brooke Paglarulo and the Misfire defeated Athena Kozel in the Little Miss Madness, so Brooke was very stoked about that. Congrats to her. And a lot of the drivers, everybody threw it down in freestyle, especially Nick Paglarulo in the Kraken, who won freestyle. Now, if any of you guys haven't seen my freestyle reel on Instagram, the full freestyle of Nick Paglarulo, the ending of his run when he came up to the front stretch and did donuts right in front of me, I think that's the closest I'll ever get to seeing live monster truck donuts. Like the dust was almost about to cover me whole, but it was incredible. Just seeing everybody that weekend. Don't get that much access to monster truck events like I did, so big thank you to Chuck, big thank you to Brian, and looking forward to seeing them again in actually less than 2 weeks, as I'll be going to Monster Jam in Atlanta on Saturday, April 11th, but on the way back home, I'll be seeing them at the Tennessee-Georgia state line for the national championship event. So can't wait to see them one more time this spring. But now we go into Monster Jam. But before we recap the events this weekend, I want to bring Lane on this very big news. As in Birmingham, Alabama, Protective Stadium, we saw the debut of a brand new paint scheme, and that is Zombie Stars and Stripes, driven by Barry Musauer. Much like the situation with Tyler Duke and Megalodon Stars and Stripes, this truck with Zombie will be driven all the way up to Monster Jam World Finals 25 in Salt Lake City. So, before I get my take on this, Lane, what are your initial thoughts on Zombie Stars and Stripes?
They could have done better. I mean, I I don't even know what to say really. Like, I know it's supposed to look. I know it looks really a lot like the American flag itself. You know, with the left or however you see it. If you're seeing it from the left side of the truck, You can see it from the way the flag is, and of course the other way around from the other side of the truck. But I don't even know what to say really. Like they could have done more effort to this. This actually looks like if Hot Wheels actually made this. Remember when Hot Wheels actually made those Stars and Stripes lineup? It's
Yes, yes,
literally
I do.
that. It's literally that. Just it's not well executed. It was very lazily attempted. They didn't even do work on the arms, which is even funnier. Um, by far the worst Stars and Stripes truck I've seen so far. Compared to the other three we saw last year. But Zombie, man, yeah, that's just not it, really. It's the thought that counts, I guess, but like, it's just still not it. Like, they could have done more with it. What do you think?
Yeah, this is definitely going to take some getting used to. Like when I first saw the photo, I forgot where I first saw it from, but when I first got to see what Zombie Stars and Stripes looked like, I was like, is this a real thing? Like the touches on it are a bit interesting, especially like the clothing that you see on the back panels, the tailgate, that was done with stars on it too. And it's very weird seeing like the graphics on the normal zombie. You would have like some patches of blood there, some scars, but this time it's just solid stars, solid stripes. So definitely the weirdest looking zombie scheme that I have ever seen. But I'm hey, it gives me something to look forward to in Nashville, as that'll be coming to Nissan Stadium in a few weeks. But yeah, Zombie Stars and Stripes will be ran by Barnum Sauer all the way up to World Finals and in the World Finals. What other Stars and Stripes trucks will we see later this year? Only time will tell. But now we look at the results. Who came out on top of all the tours this weekend? As 6 tours were in action this weekend, 5 domestic, 1 international. And we're going to start off with the international tour as a champion was crowned. We'll get to that in just a moment. So your lineup consisted of 8 drivers, with Earthshaker, Brandon Arthur, El Toro Loco, Europe's own Peter Nyman, Gravedigger, Charlie Plotkin, Megalodon, Mikey Vaughters, Monster Dalmatian, Blake Granger, Sparkle Smash, Chelsea Van Cleve, Thunder Roris, Geneva Keller, and Zombie Joe Dennis. And Lane, just a weird fact about Geneva Keller. Did you know that she actually speaks German?
No, I did not. I think I saw Max send me the video earlier. I had no clue she actually speaks German.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. And she did a whole advertisement for a Monster Jam Journal event in German. So that's just a pretty cool fact that I never knew, and maybe the fans, probably never knew about Geneva Keller and Thunder Roars. But how did the drivers do this past weekend at the historic El Redome? 2 events this weekend. Let's take a look. So your JCB Racing Finals for the Saturday show. It was Mikey Vaughters defeating Charlie Plotkin. Megalodon gets the first win of the weekend, but the Gravedigger does get revenge in the two-wheel skills challenge. So the whoever got the higher freestyle score, that would be the make or break for freestyle. But getting the highest score would be Monster Mutt Dalmatian and Blake Granger, carrying his momentum from the arenas to the stadiums. But winning the overall event championship by 1 point, it was Charlie Plotkin and the Gravedigger. Moving on to Sunday afternoon, your racing finals, Gravedigger gets the win against Earthshaker and Brandon Arthur. Two-wheel skills, it goes to Monster Mutt Dalmatian, and he also takes the freestyle competition, but it would not be enough to take the overall event championship. It was Gravedigger, Charlie Plotkin sweeping both events. But that is not the big news from the weekend. The big news is that we have our first Monster Jam World Finals invite to Blake Granger, Monster Mutt Dalmatian, who is your undefeated, undisputed International Tour champion. Literally, since this has started in 2024, Blake Granger has won every single one so far. I'm probably just going to accept that he's going to win every points tour on international until the end of eternity. But Lane, how about this? We have our first invite for the World Finals, and it's once again Blake Granger.
Very fitting for the world reigning defending World Finals freestyle champion. Of course, that being, but I mean, you got to. I mean, apart from winning this championship, he's on track to win another one as well. So he's gonna get a two-peat. Actually, is it okay? Well, he's gonna do a two-peat, but would this technically count as a four-peat because he's getting two more under not a year span, actually basically a back-to-back years, like two championships. But anyway, yeah, for the defending champion, it is fitting. Of course, in Dalmatian, it can have been more perfect. And talk about freestyle. That freestyle run he did on Sunday, I mean, of course, over here in the domestic soils, it would be morning, but over there it was afternoon. That freestyle run, and he pulled off a power wheelie on half broken truck. Did you see that?
A power wheelie in this economy? I saw that too. That was insane. Uh, Incredible stuff from Blake Granger. He's definitely working his way up the rankings as, bro. I want to say, I'm not really one of the most accomplished drivers in Monster Jam history, but don't you think he's definitely on his way up there?
Yes. Um, like work and like he's really worked hard, really, in the domestic series. Like last year in Arena East, it wasn't even really handed to him. He got it, like he rightfully deserves it. This year, like he's even stronger. Like he's really almost unbeatable. He went on a winning streak for overalls. Um, but yeah, Blake Granger is just on one. Basically since 2024, ever since ever since he finished up with Max D and move on to other names, especially Dalmatian. But yeah, I think Blake Granger's getting a lot of accomplishments done in such a fast time that no one ever like people you would think like Tyler Meninga or Weston Anderson would do. Blake has done more than them if you really think about it.
Yeah, that's right. Blake Granger. It's incredible to think that a bit over under a decade ago, he was just a backup driver, a fill-in driver for others, but now he's just become this household name. And he's giving Monster Dalmatian swagger, just incredible stuff that he is doing in his young Monster Jam career, and he's still got a lot of years left in him. But that is enough for the international series. We're going to take it, well, not really back over to the States, because we did have a points tour in Canada. I'm going to hand this over to Lane. Vancouver, British Columbia. That is where Arena Series West set up shop at the Pacific Coliseum. Who came out top of all of those events, Lane?
All right, so from Vancouver, British Columbia, go to Canada. This last weekend to end up wrap up March. Starting off with Friday night, your racing winner is Gravedigger defeating Velociraptor Cliff Turner, appearing a lot. Actually, he's slowly starting to get a little better in his racing competitions. He's not very quite skilled yet in skills or freestyle, but he's really starting to get a lot better in racing. He showed up in the semifinals and finals quite a handful of times now, the last couple of weeks. Going on to skills, your skills winner is Ultra Loco Freestyle. It is Gravedigger Matt Cody, and of course the overall goes to Marmando Castro. Ultra Loco Saturday afternoon. El Toro Loco is your racing winner, defeating Gravedigger. Skills goes to Tim Hall Jr., Jurassic Attack. Freestyle is El Toro Loco, but the overall number 2 is El Toro Loco. On to show 3, your racing winner is once again El Toro Loco, defeating Cliff Turner and the Raptor. Skills is El Toro Loco. Look at that. Clean sweep for El Toro Loco. Armando Castro for Saturday evening. Show 3. Full clean sweep. He's lucky that Blake Granger wasn't there. Oh, yeah, talk about Blake Granger. Apart from him being an Arnhem, we did have 2 Dalmatians. The other Dalmatian driven for West was, of course, NASCAR's very own Ryan Vargas, which we almost forgot to mention about. So, yes, Armando was very lucky that Blake was not there. It gave some breathing room for everyone else and some catch-up for Armando Castro, especially since he is runner-up to first place. But full clean sweep for show 3 and the El Toro Loco team. Show 4, your finals racing winner is Cliff Turner and Velociraptor, his third finals racing appearance and his first racing career win in Monster Jam. In skills, it is Jurassic Sex, so far it is a team throttle domination. But into freestyle, your winner is Ultra Loco, but the overall to finish out Vancouver is THJ Jurassic Attack. So great show. We actually, of course, these weren't streamed, but shout out to Monster Truck Washington who went over there up north for those four awesome shows this past weekend. Of course, one thing you also got to say, a little highlight right here, is Angelina did a move.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, she did a move.
She
Like
did.
she did a move. Like I think the more seat time she finally starts to get, I think the more hang of things she was starting to get. But yeah, I think it was what Saturday or Sunday that she made a crazy move that somehow made her go end over end on um over the pot and eventually crashed just right on top of the backflip ramp. But yeah, look at
Oh
Angelina
my
go.
gosh.
But other than that, it's full clean sweep for Armando and a team throttle monster domination on show 4. And of course, big congrats to Cliff Turner on his first racing career win. Other than that, we'll be going over to Central, or as now known as Freestyle Mania, taking it back over to Nafagen.
All right, so what happened in the Freestyle Mania series this weekend? Let's take a look. As they were in the land of cheese, Green Bay, Wisconsin, at the Rec Center for four action-packed events this weekend. Yes, four events. Let's take a look here. JCB Racing Finals for Friday night. It is Weston Anderson and Gravedigger defeating Chucky Plotkin and the Classroom Crusher. Two Wheel Skills winner is Brandon Telechka and the Zombie. Look at them go. Your best upright trick winner for FMX is Ringling Bailey's Circuit with Greg Duffy. And best trick, here we go again. It's Scott Murray and Megalodon, our good old buddy, our best Megalodon driver in Monster Jam. Freestyle competition winner is Gravedigger Weston Anderson, and that is enough by 1 point over Zombie to take the overall event championship for Team Gravedigger. Saturday afternoon, your racing finals, it is Fernando Martinez and El Toro Loco getting the win over Weston Anderson. Two Wheel Skills winner, once again, is Brandon Telechka and Zombie, so he's going 2 for 2. Best upright trick goes to Nolan Bakken in the Gravedigger. Best trick, once again, Megalodon. I think we see where this is going. Fernando Martinez gets the freestyle win, but it is not enough for the overall championship. With a whopping 35 points, Gravedigger gets 2 overall championships for the weekend. Saturday night, once again, goes to Gravedigger. The racing win goes to Gravedigger over Classroom Crusher. Gravedigger also wins Two Wheel Skills. Best upright trick goes to Ringling Bailey's Circuit. Megalodon once again wins best trick. And freestyle goes to Tony Oaks in the JCB Digatron. And Gravedigger once again wraps up another overall event championship. Did he do it on Sunday? Let's take a look. JCB Racing Finals. It is Classroom Crusher Chucky Plotkin defeating Michaela Telechka and the Megalodon. So, how about that? Two Wheel Skills goes to Gravedigger Weston Anderson. So, Team Gravedigger takes 2 skills challenge wins on the weekend. Best upright trick goes to AJ Roseborough in El Toro Loco. Megalodon once again sweeps all the best trick competitions of the weekend. And freestyle to end the weekend is El Toro Loco, and that is enough to snap the Gravedigger streak and win El Toro Loco the overall event championship. So how about that, Lane? Gravedigger wins 3, Team El Toro Loco wins 1 overall event championship. I think it's just almost set in stone that Gravedigger is just sweeping or you're going to be taking the series, don't you think?
was a bit of a toss up between Team JCB Dugatron and Gravedigger, of course, El Toro Loco being right there behind them. But yeah, I guess at this point, just might as well lock it up and call it a day and give Weston the invite. But shout out to Tony Oaks as well. Give him an invite as well. Might as well.
Yeah, so great action this weekend for Mosh Jam Freestyle Mania as Weston is once again on a quest for another Arena Series championship. But now I hand it back over to Lane as we are going to North Charleston, South Carolina at the North Charleston Coliseum. That is where Arena Series East had their events this weekend. Who won the overall event championships over there?
Four shows, and first of all, shout out to North Charleston Arena for the late 80s or early 2000s cameras that they still have, giving us that old school feeling that everyone
The
loved.
greatest cameras of all time.
Literally, it's like
Uh,
it's like you were watching the Panda Days on modern times, or like TNN type, or yeah, like TNN Monster Motor Madness episodes, literally in these times, in this modern times. But yeah, shout out to them for the old cameras. Anyway, starting off with show one, your racing winner is JZJ. Wow. I almost forget things. I've literally blanked out. Terminal Velocity wins racing against Ankh Cody Saucier Dragon. Skills goes to Terminal Velocity. Freestyle goes to MJ Solario El Toro Loco. And overall, surprisingly on a tie. And on that tiebreaker, because El Toro Loco placed higher, literally the whole place higher. Terminal Velocity finished last in freestyle. El Toro Loco finished first. So in that tiebreaker, both 17 points, but El Toro Loco claims the overall. Now on to show two. Your racing winner is Terminal Velocity, defeating Playing Crazy. Skills goes to El Toro Loco, but freestyle goes to El Toro Loco, and the overall this time, just beating El Toro Loco, uh, is Terminal Velocity with claiming 22 points after show two. Your racing winner for show three is Montana Robbins, Playing Crazy, this time defeating Terminal Velocity. Skills goes to Terminal Velocity. Freestyle goes to Unc Cody Saucier Dragon. But the overall still goes to the young kid JZJ Terminal Velocity. Show 4, your racing winner is Crazy Train. The other Robbins brother, this time also defeating Terminal Velocity. So that's Montana and Trent both defeating the series leader in the same weekend. Skills goes to Terminal Velocity. Freestyle is Terminal. And overall, once again, goes to Terminal Velocity, on track to yet another World Finals bid this far into the season. But I know we've talked about GCJ last year, and of course this year he's on a tear this year. But of course the only game he's got so far this year, I think, is only just MG Solorio, and of course here and there is Cody Saucier and the Robbins brothers. But what do you think?
I think this, just like last year, this is John Zimmer Jr.'s points championship to lose. I definitely think last year, not to really bash on anyone on this tour because this has definitely been a competitive tour, but I feel like last year it was definitely a lot closer. It was like a back and forth battle between him, Matt Cody, Fernando Martinez. But this year, there hasn't been a whole lot of shift in the points. It has consistently been John Zimmer Jr., even when someone like an MJ Solorio or a Cody Saucier takes an overall event championship, it is still John Zimmer Jr. that is staying consistent. So if he can just keep on this roll that he's on, like take the majority of the overall event championships like he did this past weekend in North Charleston, he has got more than enough momentum to take that into Salt Lake City with a point series championship.
Yeah, my mic was off for a little bit. So yeah, from North Charleston, we'll be going on from the arenas to the stadiums. Which one do you want to start off with, San Antonio or Birmingham?
I'll do Stadium Series West at Birmingham, Alabama. Sweet Home Alabama, they went back to Protective Stadium for a third year in a row for a one show weekend. Definitely good for the drivers just to perform for one event. And this is the debut event for Barry Musauer in Zombie Stars and Stripes. So, how did he and the other drivers do this weekend? Let's take a look. JCB Racing Finals. It is once again the Battle of Kill Devil Hills. Ryan Anderson, son of a digger, defeats Tyler Miniga in the Gravedigger to win the first competition of the evening. Skills challenge. One thing to note is, unfortunately, Fat Mike Christensen did not compete with Vendetta in the skills challenge, but he did come back later for freestyle. But your top three in skills, Zach Garner in Wildside gets third place. Tech Deck Rec Deck Bryce Kinney gets second place, but your skills challenge winner is Gravedigger Tyler Meninga. He gets it done. Freestyle, your top three for that competition. Gravedigger absolutely sends it in Protective Stadium, gets third place. Son of a Digger, Ryan Anderson gets second. But your freestyle winner, completing an incredible kickflip or save, is Tech Deck Rec Deck 9.445 the score, the highest of any driver that weekend in Birmingham. So an incredible freestyle for Tech Deck Rec Deck, but by 1 point over Son of a Digger, it is Grave Digger Tyler Miniga once again wrapping up another overall event championship. So, Lane, this has been back and forth between Ryan and Tyler. Who would you say might have the edge later on in the season to take the whole championship?
Good question, actually. I don't know. It's so stale at this point. Like, the only entertaining part is Bryce Kenny, but between Tyler and Ryan, I really think Ryan actually might get away with it this time. Uh, yeah, I don't know. It's just Tyler Ryan. A lot of times in the finals too. Zach Garner was there, and then unfortunately just kind of truck crap the bed, but that happens. But it's just Tyler and Ryan. It's kind of starting to get stale, but I wouldn't be shocked or surprised if either one of the two just get away with the series at this point.
Yeah, sometimes we'll have like a Zach Gardner, Dalton Winder, or a Bryce Kenny, or even a Barry Masauer coming about and taking all the wins. But mostly it's been Tyler and Ryan just consistently battling for the points. And it looks like that's going to continue to be the narrative as the season goes on. But now I'll give you San Antonio, Texas, as finally, after 2 months of a weather delay, we finally get Monster Jam at the Alamo Dome. So I'll let you take this. What happened this weekend on Stadium Championship Series East?
Yeah, like you said, remember that show that was supposed to happen in January? Well, that happened now. San Antonio had two great shows, by the way, after a very decent weekend from Detroit the week before. They were going over down south to San Antonio, Texas, and the good old Alamo Dome. Starting off with Saturday night. Show one, your racing winner is Tristan England, JCB Digitron, defeating Jim Kohler, Avenger. Skills goes to Mike Pag and Excalibur. Freestyle goes to. There's no way. No. No.
Who is
There's
it?
no way. It's Unk the Crockpot. Kevin Crocker
Oh,
and the Megalodon?
let
How
him
do
cook.
we. How does this happen?
In this
Not only
economy,
that, it gets even crazier. He won the overall.
super
How
unk.
Unk still got it? Unk still got it.
Cinema. Absolute cinema.
Literally, when I saw the group chat pop up that he won the overall, I was like, "There's
Oh my
no
gosh.
way." I mean, the
That's
freestyle, okay.
crazy.
Overall, there's no way he beats JCB Digatron for it. How?
That is insane.
How? I mean, of
He beat
course,
everybody.
in this tiebreaker, yes, like you said, and of course in this tiebreaker he places way higher than JCB. But look in here, it's skills. He finished third, and of course in racing, he finished. Well, he was the last one to be defeated in round two. So, there's no way Kevin Crocker
Uh,
got a overall in the Big 26. Unk still got
greatest
it.
moment. Greatest moment of the year.
I've seen enough. Put him in the World Finals. Give him Megalodon. Give him Megalodon
Yeah.
starting stripes. I've seen enough. put the crock pot in the World Finals. But yeah, there was no way this actually happened. That was crazy. Um, all right, so next up onto show two after the unction happens, we're on to a normal Stadium Series East event, which got boring, sadly. Classroom Crusher is your racing winner, defeating Cynthia Gauthier and Lucas Stabilizer. Look at on going at it too. Skills goes to JCB Diggertron. Tristan England, of course, no surprise. But freestyle, my God, they call Magic Mike for exactly one reason, and he completely did some magic out there because on one flat tire, literally after the first jump, on one flat tire, kept the
They let
truck.
him keep
They
going.
let him keep going. They let the young man go and one freestyle. He was literally the third, fourth truck out to go on for freestyle and won the whole thing.
You see what happens when you let these drivers keep going on a flat tire? They
Right?
could do some crazy stuff.
Listen to the fans. Hell, the drivers don't care if if that rips the tire and they have to buy a whole new one. But still, the Magic Mike, my God, man, Excalibur. That's all I gotta say. It was just at pure cinema, pure Magic Mike cinema.
And it was another event, like a tale of two events, when he had Kevin Crocker winning freestyle on Saturday, and freestyle on Sunday. He didn't even complete minimum time, finished last. So that means to all you people going to Atlanta, you'll be getting to see Kevin Crocker freestyle first on Saturday. So I'll be looking forward to seeing that. But yeah, incredible stuff this past weekend for the stadiums, especially in San Antonio. Now, let's take a look at how that affects the point standings. Not much to go into international because Blake Granger is officially the tour champion. But let's take a look at these other tours and take a look at them. So we'll start at the arenas and we'll go up to the stadiums. So first, let's start with the Freestyle Mania series. The top five going from 5 to 1. Team Classroom Crusher is in fifth place with 921. It is Megalodon, Scott Murray, and the Megalodon with his teammate Michaela Telechka with 935. Their third place is Team El Toro Loco with 1,102. JCB Diggertron in second place with 1,168. And Team Gravedigger is in the lead with 1,250 points. Not much to dive into that because, as it looks, if Gravedigger keeps it going, they'll win another points championship. But now we move into Arena Series East. Number 5 is Kristen Anderson and Gravedigger with 468. Triton Robbins, Crazy Train, maintaining a top half spot with 514. Cody Saucier, Unk and the Dragon is in third with 538. MJ Solorio, El Toro Loco, 619. And with a 104-point lead, it is John Zimmer Jr. in terminal velocity with 723 points. And Blake Granger doesn't even have that big of a lead in Arena Series West. And Blake has been wrapping up a lot of overall fit points, but he did have the week off because he was in Arnhem. So fifth place in Arena Series West was Alex Barden and Earthshaker with 630. Tim Hall Jr., Jurassic Attack with 738. Matt Cody Gravedigger, third place with 780. Timo Toro Loco, Armando Castro, second place with 853. Behind the leader by 66 points. So Ryan Vargas keeps Massimo Dalmatian in the lead, but now at 919 points. So it's still a big gap, but the gap has gotten a little bit closer. So, Lane, what would you say is probably the series to watch now that we are heading into April?
For sure, Arena West. Um, a great weekend for Armando. Of course, Blake is back behind the wheel pretty soon. The other one I would have to say is Freestyle Mania. Actually, yeah, Freestyle Mania. Literally, if it wasn't for FMX, we'd be right now seeing another Western domination. Of course, we are, but you know, with the help of Scott Murray and Megalodon, keeping Team Megalodon afloat at fourth, and then of course Team JCB Digitron, the highest they ever placed in this series for Tony Oaks. Um, you know, but I guess Freestyle Mania and Arena West are both the series to watch. No shade to Arena East, but Zim is so far ahead. Like you ain't even gotta watch the shows. You just gotta just look back at results and be like, oh yeah, Zim won. That's it. Like he's so dominant. He's really good. But yeah, Arena West and Freestyle Mania are the two series to watch. I'd say, in my opinion.
Yeah, just going back again to Zimmer Jr., and this is a new chassis that he has been driving with in this series, and he's taken his series by storm. No doubt, if he keeps this up, he'll get himself another invite and become a two-time Monster Jam Points champion as an independent, and still the only independent to do so. But now we move into the point standings for the Stadium Series. We'll start off with Stadium Series West. In fifth place, it is Tag Deck Rec Deck. Bryce Kenny with 366. Fourth place still hasn't rolled his truck over. Dalton Weiner and the Shell Shocked with 369 points. Barry Musauer and Zombie Stars and Stripes, it is 396. And still in control of the points is these two drivers. Tyler Minigo Gravedigger, 441, 8 points behind the leader. With 449, it's Ryan Anderson, son of a digger. So we've already mentioned these two, the top two to watch in terms of actually battling for the points championship at the end of the season. Now we move into Stadium Series East. Number 5 is Colt Stevens and Thunder Roris with 330. Chris Kohler Mayhem still has a top 5 spot. He's in fourth with Mayhem, 345 points. Adam Anderson and Gravedigger 42 has 362 points in third. Camden Murphy and the class from Crusher, 418 points. 21 points behind the leader. Tristan England and JCB Digatron with 439 points. You think this is JCB's championship to lose once again, or you think Camden Murphy might be able to give him a run for his money?
I actually think Camden might actually. I think he has a chance. Uh, if it wasn't for the several weeks that Tristan England missed out on, it wouldn't have been. It really would have been easy for Camden or anyone else. But Camden really might really have a good chance to get a championship series after all these years. He's never got one ever, whether that was with Pirate's Curse or Bakugan, ever. He's never gotten one. But I think this could be his year if he keeps it up in racing and skills and freestyle competitions. What do you think on that?
Yeah, like what you're saying, and Camden Murphy did have a competitive advantage earlier in the season, actually being the points leader, but then some stuff didn't go his way, and stuff did go Tristan's way to take the points lead and hold on to it for a while. But yes, this is the best chance I believe that Camden Murphy has had at winning a championship, and he's second place right now. But he's really going to have to crack the whip these next few weeks if he's going to want to take that points title away from Tristan England, prevent JCB from winning a second one in a row. But this coming up weekend is going to be an off week for both Stadium Series. They both rest up, get ready for their next competitions. Of course, East will be in Atlanta, Georgia at the Echo Park Speedway, and West will be at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, California. So no stadium action this coming weekend, but you do get to see all three arena series as well as these shows coming up this weekend. Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live Glow and Fire will only have their international tour in operation. They'll be in Liverpool, UK at the M&S Bank Arena. You'll also have the Malicious Monster Truck Insanity Tour with the 5 straight-up racing trucks, Elbows Up with Joe Briggs, Identity Theft Miles Parker, Mixed Up Gavin Sell, Rockstar Bill Payne, and Spitfire Nick Jones. You also have 2 locations for the Monster Truck Wars Tour: City of Industry, California, at the Industry Hills Expo Center. Locomotive, Chris Watley, Outlaw, Brandon Pizzo, Shark Attack, Kaylee Engstrom, and T-Rex Colton Fowler. They'll also be at Lebanon, Tennessee at the Warren Agricultural Center. I will not be going to this. But you will see if you're going, it's Locomotive Justin Murphy, Outlaw Adam Wilson, Shark Attack Jerry Frater, and T Rex Devin Jones. So for my fellow Tennesseans going to see the show, good luck. Anyways, Renegade Monster Truck Tour was at Clearbrook, Virginia, or they're going to be at Clearbrook, Virginia, with Illuminator, Daniel Donnelly, Jurassic Attack, Preston Collins, Stinger Unleashed, CJ Ratu, Toxic Corey Snyder, and Velociraptor, Preston Perez. So those two Team Throttle Monster guys are done with Toughest. They're now going to be doing some Renegade shows. 2X Live Tour
Sorry,
is going to be
just
in.
sorry, just anyone going to Renegade. Also, good luck. Watch out for CJ. Watch out for CJ.
Yeah, if you are sitting close to the barriers, you might want to second guess that. Anyways, 2X Live Tour, a much safer tour. It's going to be in Chandler, Arizona at the Firebird Motorsports Park and a six truck lineup this weekend. Bounty Hunter, Jimmy Creighton, Brutal, Austin Minton, Jekyll and Hyde, Corey Connell, Rona Rex, Mike Nugent, Scarlet Bandit, Don Creighton, and Shark Bite, Dan, the Man, Dahlgren.
The man. Yeah.
And the man, let's go. So now we go into the Arena Series. Now, this one for Arena Series East, I assume this is not a points event because we only have a six truck lineup. We do not have El Toro Loco or Dragon in this event, but we do have Kristen, Logan Ashline, Sparkle Smash, the Zimmers, and the Robins. So, not a point show, but we're still going to do some top three predictions. And I'll go ahead and start off with this. My top three drivers I have for this weekend. I'm going to go with the Zimmers, Papa Zim and Megalodon, and Little Zim in Terminal Velocity. And you know what? Let's fly high with Montana Robbins and Playing Crazy.
All right. So for my three, even though this is non-points, I'm gonna go with John Zimmer Jr., Montana, and John Zimmer Sr.
All right, some good picks from there. Small correction because I cannot read. We're actually going to have a stadium tour in action this weekend, but they are going to be in an arena. So, no Arena West. Instead, we have Stadium West in an arena at Oakland, California, the Oakland Arena. It is going to be no Ryan Anderson and no Corey Rummel, as well as no Bari Musauer. And so right now, you have Black Pearl Cole Vernard, El Toro Loco Jamie Garner, Gravedigger Tyler Meninga, Caleb Bud Sparkle Smash. You also have Team Throttle Monster with Shell Shocked and Vendetta. And you have Tech Deck Wreck Deck, and you have Zach Garner in Wildside. So this is actually kind of interesting because you have three Feld trucks and five independents, which is pretty weird because in a normal like eight truck event, you'd usually have like four Feld trucks and four independents. So definitely interesting for this one. But Lane, who would you say your top three drivers are for Stadium West in an arena?
For this one, of course, it's coming back to his roots. Tyler Meninga, Gravedigger. Number two, Shell Shock Dalton Weiner, also going back to his roots. And number three, also going back to his roots, Zach Garner Wildside. Also, let's take a little small bet. Watch the funniest thing happen. Shell Shock rolls over in an arena for the first time.
If that is the event of all events that Shell Shock rolls over, able to maintain the butt truck 100% in stadiums, but in an arena is when it flops. That would be so insane. But my top three drivers. Let's go a little bit crazy here. I'll go with Tyler for one of my drivers. I'll also go with Colvinard and Dalton Weiner. So give me Black Pearl and Shell Shocked. Why not? No points for this event. Let's go nuts. But this tour actually does count for points. Freestyle Mania will be at the MVP Arena in Albany, New York. All the trucks, all the drivers are at this event. So it is a full on points matter event. So my top three for this weekend: Weston Anderson and Gravedigger, Chucky Pauken in Classroom Crusher, and Tony Oaks and JCB Tigatron. How about you, Lane?
My three that I'm going to hear first off, I'm going to go with Chalky Pucking, Classroom Crusher. Number two, Brandon Talashka Zombie and Weston Anderson, Gravedigger.
All right, some solid picks, a lot to look forward to this weekend. Before we close things out, let's just have a little fun real quick. So, of course, last week we had the debut of Zombie Stars and Stripes. Now, there are a lot more. I assume there are going to be a lot more Stars and Stripes trucks that are going to be debuting. Probably not until the World Finals. But what Lane and I are going to do is that we're going to experiment with what trucks could be next for the Stars and Stripes series. So let me go first. When are we going to see a Stars and Stripes Sparkle Smash? Come on now. In only its third year of competition, can you imagine the horn on Sparkle Smash shooting out red, white, and blue confetti? I mean, you got either the stars in the front and it fades to the stripes in the back, or vice versa. Lane, would that cook or not?
50-50 chance. Half of me says yes, half of me says no. Like, I can picture it already. It's like what they did last year, only this one will probably be similar to El Toro Loco Stars and Stripes. I can see a white horn, and then of course I can see the red and white striped hair. Yeah, and tail, and then of course I can just see a blue body, which it won't look bad, but it will also look super plain. Of course, with the stars everywhere. But I was about to say, I guess my one of my predictions is Sparkle Smash, literally, because why not? Really, I mean, would it cook? Maybe, depending, but would it also not cook? Yes. Like, this is it's a 50-50 chance. Like, literally, I imagine it in my head. So, who knows? But I can literally see Sparkle Smash being the next one up for July.
Oh, imagine we finally get to see the Stars and Stripes JCB Digatron come to life,
Oh,
because that was made as a die cast but was not made in real life. So I think maybe if we have, we'll probably get like Tony Oaks in the last chance qualifier at the least. So what would you say? Maybe he drives a Stars and Stripes JCB Digatron?
I could really see it, and it would be super fitting, considering he is an actual veteran. So yeah, I actually could see it, and also I think he could actually be in the skills competition this year, hopefully.
And who would you say would be an independent that we can see wearing a Stars and Stripes scheme? Because we already saw Avenger doing that last year.
Part of me wants to say Avenger again. Jim is taking these routes with the paints lately. Um, I don't see Terminal doing it. I don't really see the Robins doing it. Um,
Can
I
you
don't
imagine a Black
know.
Pearl Stars and Stripes?
I literally just thought of one. I mean, unless if it's George Washington crossing the Delaware, it would be so sick. Actually, like, okay, you know what? You know what? I'm pitching the idea to Cole now. A Black Pearl Stars and Stripes, but with George Washington crossing the Delaware to celebrate the 250. There we go. I'm cooking right here. I to celebrate 250, crossing the Delaware is George. I'm cooking right here. I'm calling up Noah. I'm telling him like, hey, I got a design for you. Make it right now.
And add George Washington's face on the tailgate.
Oh yeah.
Dude, if it doesn't have that, we don't want it. But only time will tell what or the other Stars and Stripes trucks we will see, especially at the World Finals. But, ladies and gents, that will do it for this episode tonight of STSL Off the Track. Make sure to follow socials, especially on Instagram, for more coverage and more updates of Monster Truck events. Also, keep up with the STSL Beam League and everything that they are doing over there. But that is it for all of us tonight. For Lane Forest, I am Nafajin. Good night. Welcome to April. This was STSL off the track.